Hello, everybody. Today we're gonna do a multi uh, part series of videos because I did a article like long time ago. Let's see here. February 17, 2022. So I said, and this is the topic title of the article that is linked down there in the description. I said I expect a video game crash and soon. It's a very long article, so I'm gonna leave it down there in the description, but I'm gonna go ahead and go with the bullet heads here so we can be on the same page. So this long article has a history lesson right here. See, tons of information. Going down, going down, going down. Long information. Alright, so problem statement number one. Digital store fronts. Okay? And the reason, because the reason why game publishers are using digital game fronts rather than physical media is because these companies, they okay, so you're the retailer, you buy it from the publisher, but the split is going to be between let's say 20%, and they take 50%. The developer of the game split it up between the publisher and the developer, so they take 50%, and the other one probably takes 50% or 60%. It depends on what the contract says. Okay. This video is in the article itself. I'll let you go ahead and discover it by yourself. Down there in the description. Cloud gaming. And this is going to become a big problem in the years that come. It's not necessarily a big problem by itself, but people don't want to sit there and download or stream the game into their device. What happens if internet is off? You can't play the game. And this is related to DRM, which I will explain a little bit later in this article. So, loot boxes was a big problem back in the 2000s. I have Angry Joe here. Fantastic video. It should be watched by millions and millions and millions of people, especially these game developers and these game publishers. Yeah. I'll come back to this video in a future video to complement this one. But great video. Great video. Great video. Most of the Angry Joe videos are not high quality, but this one was chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. Okay? Problem statement. DLC. Downloadable content. This is not a problem. And I said it in here somewhere. Actually, Capcom has the right idea. Most companies charge the DLC. Some are releasing DLC as patches. Some are doing mixture of both. Actually, let's use the Capcom business model of 20 years ago. And they're still actually doing the business model with Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5, Street Fighter 6. Sometimes they will charge, hold on. Sometimes they will release chargeable DLC. Sometimes they will release free DLC, and once that DLC is finished, the DLC is included in the next version of their release. Like so. Street Fighter 5 DLC. Street Fighter 5 Champion Edition. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. Okay? Everyone is happy, and some companies are doing the same. Horizon Zero Dawn was released, then DLCs. Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition includes the DLC. It's easy. It's like From Software, they released Elden Ring, right? And then they released the DLC, right? But then they released the Game of the Year edition. $70 worth the money. Go ahead, because it not only it's a popular game, it's also a long game, and then additional DLC. It's great. Yeah. Next one is problem statement. Cryptocurrency / Bitcoin / NFT. This is controversial on one side and not controversial on the other side. But in general, people don't trust it enough. And with AI in the mix, I don't think it's going to get any better. Problem statement, metaverse. And this one is ridiculous. I said it in the article itself, but the overall statement that I had is, what's the point of metaverse if we have games like Grand Theft Auto 5 and the new Grand Theft Auto 6 coming up? Making no sense. You actually have a metaverse in all of these open world games. But what they are talking about is you connect to the internet. You connect to the internet, right? But you are dropped into a open world, and that open world can connect to another universe. And another universe over here. Like a real video game, but plugged by the internet. And these servers, they hold the people, right? They hold the actual, for example, Battle Royale games are hosted on a server, on a dedicated server, not a peer-to-peer connection. No. You go onto that server, you stay on that server until the game finishes. Okay? You get eliminated, you leave, I guess. Okay? But that's ridiculous. It's not gonna work until we have mass market for virtual reality, these headsets that we have, the AR, the VR, the HoloLens style combination thing. I don't know what. The market is not there yet, and even then, there's gonna be apprehension to something else like, let's say, Neuralink, the Matrix style metaverse. I guess that's what they're trying to envision, but it's not gonna work until there's a mass market adoption of this idea. Okay, both on the company side, the publisher side, and the consumer side. There's not enough mass market idea yet. Okay? Poor games, poor quality games, and we've been seeing this for many years now, even in 2022. Yeah, this is the biggest problem. This is what caused the 1980 gaming crash. This is what it caused it. And we're still in 2024, 2025 dealing with this. And all these companies, they don't get it in here. I'm going to talk about this on the next section of this video. Hold on here. Just give me a few seconds here. Yeah, so that's a conclusion. So, I've been saying this for a while now. Nobody knows that I've been saying that the gaming crash has been here for a while. All these creators on YouTube, they say there needs to be a gaming crash. Bro, we've been in the crash for a while now. Okay? What's going on right now is not new. And it's just getting worse and worse and worse. All these companies, they don't get it. Okay? So, I'm going to jump to the next section of this video. Please stay. Okay? Hello. Okay, so shout out to Solid Ref. Shout out to you, bro. You guys been doing a great job over there. This guy right here, he's the owner of the channel. This is his son. I'm guessing this is his friend. But they're talking about the current state of gaming. And I'm gonna react to this because I agree with a lot of this. And some I don't, but we'll get there when we get there. Okay? So stick with me. Gaming crash still on.
All right, let's hear it. What do you think, man? This is a tall guy right here.
Think about what? Think about what?
What? He's a big guy.
Yeah, he's taller than you, for sure.
Well, he's also wearing shoes.
You're wearing shoes too. Weren't you wearing boots?
I'm not wearing shoes. I'm barefoot.
He's wearing socks.
Get your ass up, Vaughn. Come on, let's go to the background.
Oh, yeah, the background.
Yeah. Is he taller than me?
He's taller than me, for sure.
Can we see from here? Yeah. All right.
Back.
All right.
They're adjusting. Look at this.
I think it looks like you're the same height.
They're both the same height, bro. But this guy right here, this kid, is taller than both of them.
Okay.
I parked on the side of the road. I took my. Gotta keep it polite.
Considerate guy.
Whoa,
Considerate
it's
guy.
Paul.
Wow, how about that?
Like a lot of people probably watching this video. Oh man, so we don't have any topics today. We're literally just shooting the shit. We're gonna talk about gaming, YouTube, what it was, what it is. I don't know about you, but I don't know if it's at a different time in life, but I find gaming way boring now
Very,
than it was back then.
very.
And it also might be, and I feel worse about you for it because remember, I've been gaming since I've been 3, 4 years old. You said you really didn't get into it.
I've been playing video games since I was 3 too. By the way, I'm this guy.
Yeah, so,
I am the same like this guy.
Call of Duty 2.
So the World War
Yeah.
II one.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I beat that.
Yeah.
does he know about Modern Warfare 2?
Yeah, I beat that too.
No,
What do you
about how
mean?
it destroyed all of YouTube?
He doesn't.
He doesn't know that shit. But like
I don't know
Try not to
how you're not
discuss
even playing Call of Duty 4,
You know what
bro.
I mean?
the golden era.
It's the golden era, but when I look back on those videos, like
Call of Duty 4 is golden era, bro. Come on. What are you talking about?
And I'm just like, damn. Sometimes I feel like uploading old shit, and I'm like, I don't think people appreciate it. It's a different era.
7 Level did like a whole recap
Oh,
on all that, and it's like, I feel like nobody cares.
I mean,
Yeah, a lot of people talk about how they miss like the lobbies back in the day, how people would talk trash constantly.
Well, the thing I miss about YouTube was it was a lot more interactive in the way that video responses were a huge thing back then.
oh yeah.
But that also became a problem because then it wasn't about who was the better debater.
It was
about
more people.
who had more subs. So if you have more subs, you're automatically going to win just because you got the bigger audience. It doesn't matter what the other person is saying. Their audience is going to go to your video, downvote you, flag you, and just tell you what a dumbass you are. They're not even going to listen to your argument.
Yeah.
So it actually became pointless.
So like in the beginning of YouTube, it was like person makes a video, and then everybody else would make response videos to that video, and you could actually tag your response video to their video. So you'd watch the main video, then you could go down and watch every response in regard to that video. That's how you kind of found people.
Right.
Because you found a person that you like, and you're like, okay, well now I want to see other people's opinions. But now people don't even have opinions. They just chase for clout, chase for views, chase for money. I mean, have you played that Concord game yet?
No.
I have not played Concord.
Nor will I.
But there are people out here swearing by Concord, saying, oh, give it a chance, oh, it's unfair, and developers worked on this. Yeah, we all work. I don't know if he's working yet, but
No, bad take. It bombed, bro. It bombed.
Careful. We've been through this with the Nintendo.
I'm just saying.
Careful, Bond. We've been down this road.
Just saying.
This
I don't get
aged
why this is the
so
only
horribly.
where you could deliver a subpar product and people feel bad for you. Not only that, you can get an incomplete product and then they're expected to fix it later. Like imagine you buying a car. Oh, I know the brakes don't work, but you know, we're gonna update that on the car in 2 months for you.
1 second.
It's crazy. Like, this is the only
Nobody feels bad for the company that releases unfinished games. Bad take. No. Here's how I think games should be released, okay? You release a game complete the way it was designed, okay? And you fix the bugs 100%. If you didn't find any of the outstanding bugs after release, then you go back and fix that. What I mean by that is when the list is finished and you find more bugs, then you go back and fix it. That's how I envisioned the complete game, and then the patches work. That's how I imagined it. But these companies, they release a unfinished game and then fix the problems that they originally released the game as, and then players get mad at the company for doing that. I don't know how this is difficult to understand, bro. It should be complete. If you need to delete, if you need to delay the game, do it. We will wait for the game, bro. But these companies, they are so greedy for the Okay, let's go. I can't see. Go.
Imagine if you went to watch a movie and like the CGI, the VFX weren't complete. It's like, oh well, if you come to the movie theater next month, like that will be there. Like this is the only industry that happens and people accept it. We'll give them a chance. Like yo, my boss at my job, like, yeah, I'll give you a
We
chance.
don't accept it, but the game companies do.
Yeah.
Like, they accept
it's
it.
Crazy.
And back in the day, we
and
thought,
this is for late. Hold on.
Are there actual fanboys? Or are they just doing it to pump up their numbers?
Hold on.
Etc. What is it?
It's crazy now. I think.
Okay, so Microsoft has said that they don't care about quality. All these gamers, all we gamers, we care about quality games. Yes, we do. Because if we didn't, we wouldn't be paying $50 or $60 or $70 a game. No, we wouldn't. Y'all be broke. Talking to you, publishers, developers, yeah, you would be broke. It's your fault. Okay? So, I disagree with him right there. He says, I'll just continue. I disagree, bro. No.
Made this point to smooth that
we don't accept it.
Fanboys really aren't the problem nowadays, because at least a fanboy will go out and buy and support the product. Like, don't put their money where their mouth is.
We support this product.
As BG calls it, these simp ass
That's the same thing.
That's what they are. They're simps. So it's like, oh, you're beautiful. Oh, you're like, shut up. You know that chick's fat. She ain't good looking. Like, be honest with her. But you don't want to hurt her feelings. That's how these people are. So whether they get flown out to places, they get free review codes, they get their yellow chairs. This is the new thing of fanboys. And before, like, these people were fanatical about a thing. Now they don't even believe in what they say because of the views, because of the clout, because of the networking, and all that thing. Like, I don't know about you. I don't care who I piss off.
This is partially true. This is partly
I don't care who likes me, I don't care who hates me. We had a dude one day, he hated me so much. There was a picture of me and my face on a skyscraper, and he said he'd fly an airplane. He wished an airplane would fly through it. But, like, people used to hate me. Dudes coming up talking about, I want to find you, I want to...
I know.
Delete me. I don't even know what we can say on YouTube nowadays without it being cut.
But, I mean, at the same time, though, you would fuel the fire. Fuel the flame.
But the difference is I fuel it with honesty and the truth. Like, I'm not going to sit there and bullshit. And you know why people get mad? Because nothing pisses off people more than the truth.
Yeah.
They can't handle it.
Knowledgeable guy.
100%. Oh, yeah. He's seasoned. He's seasoned in the game. Yep.
People
Yeah,
can't.
he's got some good points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he's 100% right with the industry. And what did you call them? Positivity merchants?
Yeah,
peddlers?
That's what BG calls them. Panda bears
or panderers?
Yep.
Yeah. So I actually discussed that on a podcast that I have with Blaze. I believe a lot of people are pretending to be hyped.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's hyped for most of, at least
I
the
agree.
big YouTubers. They can't be.
No.
You can't be hyped for this trash. Look at my channel. Look at what I upload. Nothing. Why? Because I'm not playing anything.
That, and honestly, I think if it wasn't for his son joining you in their videos, I don't think you'd really even make videos.
Channel would have been done.
Yeah.
He actually revived it for a while.
Yeah, but they're gonna get exposed as the shield for that they are.
I'm telling you, man, he reinvigorated the channel for a while, but now when I ask him to do video, he's like,
What's that? What's that talking
about? What are we gonna say? We said everything there is to say. So it's like now the channel's suffering as a result. And it's like I don't feel near as gay sitting down talking with my man than I do sitting solo at 40 years old talking about fucking Astrobot.
And people are hyped for that shit.
You know what I mean? I mean, in fairness, it does look fun for what it is, but it's not something that I'm going to go out of my way to play. You know what I mean?
Look, nobody's going to deny that games like a Mario Brothers or a Sonic, those are fun games. But like outside of me playing those with my nieces,
right?
I'm probably not going to play them.
Right.
Like Mario Kart, I used to love that shit as a kid. Don't really play it anymore, but anytime I'm over with my brothers, hey, uncle, you want to play my... Yeah, I'll play with him. It's a fun, enjoyable game, but like, I'm not going to be on YouTube like, oh, I can't wait for the next Mario Kart.
Yeah.
I'm so pumped. I'm so hyped.
I gotta cancel my Astrobot. I'm kidding. Come on, dude. You know that.
But back to the prior point I was making. He's bored of games now.
Yes.
You started at 360. You're bored of games. Imagine how I feel. I started on the regular Nintendo. I've seen it all. Like, everything's still on my shelf. I've played it all. Do you know how hard it is for me to get hyped for a game? It's like the last.
Imagine.
The last.
It is hard for a lot of us to get hyped for a game. I agree with that. That was, yeah.
Because of The Witcher 3. And look what happened.
I know.
I thought that, like, Cyberpunk was going to be like.
Every summer, like clockwork. Every summer, like clockwork. We gather in June to get hyped for new games. I was a writer. I was a journalist. Okay? And I wrote for game websites. And I would get hyped for E3 in 2005. And every year we would get hyped for game reveals during E3 time. It's like no company is dumb enough to not put their game at E3, because if you don't put your game at E3 or in that period of time, if you don't do that, nobody is going to buy your game. Okay? That was back then. And then YouTube came along. Okay? Because at this point, YouTube was about to get more popular. In at least 2006, somewhere there, that cusp of 2005, 2006. And then in 2007 and then 2008, everything started to grow in that point of time. Because I don't remember that there was like YouTubers like it is today. There weren't YouTubers like media personalities, let's put it that way. But it's not the same as it was before. Before it was journalists, cameramen, and media personalities. Those three were like the exclusive class. Like, you're here, you're over here, I'm over here. You guys go over there. You guys go over there. It was weird. Weird. I have a lot of stories, but I'm saying YouTubing was not popular at that point. It was like at that cusp. Okay, so
The Witcher 3, in like a futuristic third person like art. Like, I was like, this is gonna be the dream game. And then slowly but surely, it just kept unraveling, and I still haven't even played it.
I haven't either.
Because by the time it got fixed and everything, I moved on. Every time I try to go back, there's new games out. And it's like I don't have time to find.
Now, have you tried to fire it up though?
No.
I fired it up. I fired it up like I want to say 5 or 6 different times, dude. It's boring to me. I just can't get into it. I think maybe I'm becoming more and more disconnected with first person shooters. I feel like I need third person,
You know what?
to be more immersed, if that makes sense.
Both of them are gonna hate me saying this.
Most of us are. Solid Rev. Most of us are. And the problem is there's no competition. And I'm not talking about just two people competing with each other. No. Okay, so Call of Duty has reached 400 million installs / copies worldwide. That means they're up here, okay? They're the king. But Battlefield is already here, down here. X Defiant came out with their game. They're down here. Nowhere close to Battlefield. Nowhere even close to Call of Duty. But you shouldn't be competing against Call of Duty as the like a competitor. Okay? My suggestion to Mark Rubin or like a Ubisoft who wants to attempt this again, start small. Start small. Do not compete with Call of Duty yet. Don't even acknowledge them yet. Okay? Just make the game. Attack Call of Duty like Mark Rubin did, yeah. There's a video where he calls out SBMM. And it worked. Problem is, when you punch up, they're going to punch down and then attack you. And then it's going to be overwhelming. So everybody else runs away. So my suggestion is to punch up to Battlefield. That would have been easy. But then you have to compete against Apex, Counter-Strike, Valorant, Delta Force, what garbage. Chinese garbage. Valorant is Chinese garbage also. But my point is, start small and then work your way up. Okay? And then have a gimmick somewhere, somehow. There's a gimmick in X Defiant, but the problem is, it's not like reward base. It's a little complicated to explain, but I'll just leave it at that. What I'm saying is, compete small for the time being, and then go up a little higher, until you get more installs and more marketing. That's the other thing. You need to do the marketing too. It's not just one thing. You need to do more marketing. And to be fair, I think Ubisoft did a great job marketing to Brave. That was a brilliant marketing strategy. Keep doing that. Yeah, that was brilliant. That video is on the channel right now, so go watch it. Okay, so let's keep going.
But I agree with Hardy and BG, even though they don't agree with each other. But they both say they like third person better. Unless it's like a first person multiplayer shooter like a COD, a Halo, or whatever, it's a Battlefield, like I would prefer my game.
Hold on.
Right.
Especially 100%.
No. It's not that they like third person. It's not that they don't like first person. It's just that we're at a point where Call of Duty is king, and nobody can compete against Call of Duty at the same scale. The only franchise that can compete against Call of Duty is Battlefield, or Titanfall. Yeah, Titanfall can do that because Titanfall, it has a gimmick on top of the actual paced shooter. There's a gimmick. It's the Titans. It's the Big Macs. In Battlefield, the gimmick is the tanks, the environmental destruction. It's the environmental weather. It's the unique gameplay. So those two franchises can compete against Call of Duty. The problem is, they did that 1 year. Okay, Battlefield 1 came out, and Titanfall 2 came out in the same year against Call of Duty. No, it should be one game that year. Okay, it should be one game, and then spend your marketing dollars there. Okay.
So it doesn't make sense.
I would say I prefer first still. I think it's more immersive.
Really? Well,
Yeah, and it's
I
I really like gun models too. That's one of the things I really like to look at, the guns, and I just feel like it's easier to look at. You have more of a view of the gun that you're actually holding, the gun you're shooting. The just model quality, you can inspect your guns in like games like, you know.
The other thing that I want to say is, I'm not saying I don't like third person. It's just that it's it only works when there's like a nice gameplay mechanic in the game. For example, I love games like Devil May Cry, third person, Ninja Gaiden, third person. Um, what was that other game? Horizon Zero Dawn, and it's because of the controls. Okay. Stellar Blade is another example. Controls. Hold on here. Helldivers. It's not a first-person shooter. It is a third-person shooter, and it's because controls again. Okay. Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth. Controls. Okay? Controls, and controls. If you do not have a good control for the game, then that third person shooter or third person action game will bomb at launch. Okay?
Call of Duties, and just the gun is more of a priority in first-person shooters.
Yeah, but that can also break the game though. Because if the gun looks like shit, now you don't want to play it.
Or sounds like shit.
Oh, dude, sounds so important.
Like shit.
It's so important.
I feel like new games have been really good about the gun models lately, though.
Like what?
I think just even Back 4 Blood when it came out had pretty good gun models.
It wasn't bad, but it got boring so fast.
Well, not necessarily.
What can you do with a first-person shooter genre? It's all been
It's already
done.
been done, yeah.
Yeah,
And
not necessarily just Back for Blood, but that's just one of the games. I was thinking about that vampire game, that like nobody
Like I
was interested
said,
in when it was coming out.
I don't even know what he's talking
Oh, he's talking about the Xbox game.
Yeah,
like I said, it's all about the gimmick. Okay? Call of Duty. The gimmick is the perks. The gimmick is the actual animation too, by the way. Like he said. And the sounds. The overall um um experience of Call of Duty. Okay? You have an arcade shooter and you have all these gimmicks. And then you have the kill streaks, which is a gimmick too. And then you are able to control the kill streaks too. That's another gimmick. The problem is, the newer games, they're not they're not doing any of the gimmicks correctly. Because even if you have the kill streaks feel weak. They don't do anything. The guns, you get nerfed in real time because of the algorithm, the mythical AI on your shoulder that is hovering your head over here, nerfing you during your game. Yeah, that's the big problem. Okay, there's a bunch of videos about this on the channel. Just follow through. Okay. Anyway, the point is, there's no gimmick that's helping the game. And X Defiant's problem is, there's no real good gimmick that supports the other gimmicks, like the special attacks and the special abilities. Those are not, they are very, very nice. It's good. But what do you get for doing a kill streaks? Okay? For example, if you destroy 15 players, what do you get for that? Do you get like a robot right in front of you doing the kill streak for you? Or do you have like a um, remote control bomb somewhere? Do you have a napalm missile? Do you have a shockwave somewhere? There's no gimmick in X Defiant. None. There's just special moves and abilities. Okay? That's what I feel like. And then there's no like Mortal Kombat style fatalities in there. Like in Black Ops 2, that train stage, that's a Mortal Kombat style fatality stage. That's what it is. When I played that map in Call of Duty, the first thing I thought was, oh, Mortal Kombat style, bro. Cool. So there's gotta be some kind of gimmick in gameplay.
and it had those.
That I tried to play and you refused to play with me?
Yeah, the only thing
That game? Yeah.
Yeah, the only game, or the only thing that looked even remotely interesting about it was the gun models.
What was the name of that game? Whatever.
How many games do you guys play? How do I word this? You would never play this game by yourself, but because it's two of you playing together, you would play. Do you find yourself doing that a lot? Like, I would never play this, but you know, if it's got multiplayer co-op, we'll play together.
We don't really co-op. He's not interested.
Yeah. That's another thing I noticed. In Call of Duty, I used to like lobby with my friends on PlayStation Network, and we would play the game together. But nowadays, in Call of Duty, they don't want you to play together. They don't want you to be in the same lobby. They don't want you to. Call of Duty and the Call of Duty teams are stupid. The whole point of Call of Duty, it was to reach the casuals. So you can see this on any forum. You can see this on any Call of Duty forum today. Okay? They will tell you that the reason why they buy Call of Duty is not just to have like a casual experience. They have this experience with other players in the lobby, their friends, their teammates, their clanmates. A lot of that is gone because of the way Call of Duty works today. You get chat banned, you get voice banned, you get swearing banned, you get lobby banned, you get server banned, you get this, you get network banned. And if you get network banned, that means you're not going to be able to play the next Call of Duty game or the games before that. So, nobody wants to be on chat text or chat voice. Nobody wants to be on mic. Nobody wants to talk to their friends, or even if they do it like with their friends, talking to their friends, even if it's in jest or jokes. It's not happening because there's a AI, mythical AI over your shoulders telling you what to do, what not to do. And then it stifles creativity in Call of Duty. I'm talking about the player side. Okay? That's why multiplayer gaming and co-op, like he explained here, both of them is destroyed. Okay? Co-op is a little different, but what I'm saying is you could be in a lobby with another person, like let's say Reach here, like Halo. If you're in Halo with your friend online, you could have a great time, just like you're in a co-op game. Halo was supposed to be a co-op slash multiplayer game slash casual multiplayer game. Now it's like, ooh, you did this? Bye, ban. Anti-cheat is supposed to be designed for the hackers. Nothing more, nothing less. But we have Activision here saying, "Oh, let's carpet bomb all these negative stuff. Let's clean all this up." What are we trying to clean? Are we trying to clean um I don't know, anti semi kind of thing? No, that is wokeness. Okay? That's wokeness. Stop it. Get out of here with that. Stop it. Stop it. That's wokeness. Stop it.
Because he likes to play Roblox with his friend. And he's embarrassed by that. Listen, you don't need to be embarrassed. He plays with his buddy. They play like little shooter games on Roblox. They got all kinds of different modes. He's just not interested in anything that I'm interested in. Yeah, and when it comes to co-op, what's out there that's good co-op?
Space Marines 2 is coming out.
That looks good.
Me and Blacktooth are about to play that.
Yeah, that looks good.
Helldivers was pretty good until they just started
Until it wasn't.
everything.
Dude, that first nerf, that was it for me.
Yep. Oh, it's gotten 10 times worse.
I've heard.
Like,
I've heard.
Look, I could get balancing and nerfing in a player versus player.
Right.
It's player versus survivor. Who cares if the guns are overpowered? Make more overpowered enemies. It's
Oh, yeah.
other people. I don't
Yeah.
It's stupid. Like,
Yeah, I agree with that. You're in a lobby against aliens. So why do we care about OP? Why do we care about... I don't get it. You're playing co-op with other players against aliens. Why do we need to nerf OP weapons? Are we talking about playing multiplayer here? No. Helldivers was supposed to be a co-op game. Like Halo. What's going on here? What's going on? Why? Co-op.
maybe if there was like a story.
That's true.
Like, hey,
I agree with that.
Because we lost this facility, our guns are like nerfed now. You need to recapture this facility so we get material to restore our gun. Like something. They could make it like that, but like just to nerf it.
Well, how about make the other guns more viable?
That too.
We were using the guns we were using because the other guns were trash.
Yep.
Bring the other guns up to par.
Facts. It's just
it made no sense, and that's why I was like, you know what? If they're gimping this in a co-op game, I don't even want to stick around and see what they're gonna do. And as you can see,
the last update was awful. My friend, he's actually down with me. He's at my boy's house right now. He loves the flamethrower. All he does is flame, and like they had like a 25% boost and a 50% boost. So they can't, I was always telling them like it'd be awesome if they had like a flame armor, so you want to cook yourself.
Which I always did.
Yeah. They came out the flame pistol, a flame primary, and flame armor. And what did they do right before they dropped the update? Nerf flames completely. Why would you come out with an update with all flame weapons and then nerf flame across the board?
Right.
Completely useless.
Right. No, I hear you.
Completely useless. And
that made no sense, by the way. Yeah, I agree with that. That made no sense.
Well, one, why I don't play multiplayer games much anymore, but two, why it's hard to sustain. A single player game, if it's good, it's good. It's really hard to make it bad once it's good. Multiplayer games, it could be good, but then you have to consistently keep it good or not fuck it up and make it bad. Like, you played Halo Infinite when it came out, right?
We did for a very small amount of time. What would you say, buddy? 2 weeks?
Once I beat the campaign, I was done. I had no interest.
How long did we play the multiplayer?
Not
week?
very long. Yeah.
Maybe a week.
They couldn't keep.
We don't play online much, man.
But I'm saying they couldn't keep content going.
Yeah.
Like the content they have in that game right now.
Too late.
It's dead.
Too little, too late.
That game.
Yeah.
That game.
Well, I've noticed that I just can't stand multiplayer anymore, primarily because old Call of Duty, the shit that we got tired of, shooting somebody first. You feel like you're shooting them first. You're around a corner and somehow you get killed.
Yeah.
The bullshit, the lag, all that. I'm so over it. So now if I get killed on some bullshit, I don't even want to play anymore.
Yeah, I don't have that patience like really anymore.
No. I'm done with multiplayer. I can't remember the last time I enjoyed a multiplayer game. And as far as single player goes, I've beaten one game this entire year.
What
You know what game that is? Fear.
Oh, damn. That's
Fear,
not even a new game.
Fear and Fear Extract. I believe it's 18 years old.
What are you playing Wukong?
For like 10 minutes.
Uninstall on Steam Refund?
No, a Steam Refund, yes.
The BG Refund?
Yes. I got no time for it, man.
Oh,
Life's
man.
hard enough.
Hey, man, I tell you, I'm working 70 hours a week.
Yeah.
I work out. I try to get a game in here or there. Maybe a date every now and again.
And that right there, that's the casual market. That's what Call of Duty is marketing to. It's not marketing to competitive players. It's not marketing to these sweats. No. These people. Okay? They go to work, they get off from work, they come home, and then they play the game. That's the casual market. And so when you have SBMM slash EOMM in Call of Duty, and this player competes against sweats and gets stomped on, guess what? They're just gonna drop the controller, go back to their home life, and then argue with um his wife, his girlfriend, his child, his best friend, his cousin, his whatever. Video games at this point was supposed to be an escape from life problems or whatever. Okay? They goes to school, they come back from school, they want to play the game. But when you have SBMM and EOMM, and then this mythical AI right next to you nerfing your gameplay, and you drop the controller, and then you're back to doing homework. That's what we have today. That's the problem with Call of Duty today. That's why people are not buying or playing Call of Duty today. It's because Activision thinks that by manipulating players into buying the store items, they're going to spend more money by having this kind of boost in the game, in the algorithm, so then they can rinse and repeat buy more stuff. No. The store is there to facilitate players into buying different weapons, different skins, different this and that. There's no problem with having a store. Just put a reasonable price, and you don't need to manipulate players into thinking that if I buy that weapon, I'm gonna get a better score in SBMM slash EOMM. Bro, you don't need to do that. Activision didn't need to do this in the first place. Call of Duty is big enough to sell more merchandise in the actual game. Okay? Those shop items, those are considered merchandise, okay? Items, okay? And you don't need to manipulate players into buying those items based on the algorithm. No, you don't, Activision. You don't need to do that. You have 400 million players all around the world. They will buy your product if that product is good. And I'm not just talking about the entry price video game. This thing. Okay, I'm not talking about this thing. This is entry price. This is the entry into the game. Okay? So when you buy the game, you got money. And then when players want to buy more from the game, they can just go into the store and buy the items they want. One perfect example is the last season. Squid Game. You know one item I would buy from that bundle? And I'm not talking about bundle. I'm talking about one item. One item I would buy it would be frontman, either as a character or as a skin. I would buy that on a heartbeat. But Activision put it into a new tier, the VIP tier, and they hid frontman there. You think players are gonna pay $20 for a bundle? And if they did, they're dummies. Okay? They're dummies. Okay? I would rather buy one skin. One. Okay? One. The other example is the other time. Let's say Arnold Schwarzenegger. T1000. Another example is Spawn. Spawn is a perfect example of a great skin. You would buy that. I would buy that. Hell yeah. Bruce Willis. You would buy that for $5. You don't need a bundle. You would buy that for $5. You know why? It's a classic idea of having like a detective holster with tank top on the top, or that with a jacket over the character, and then like Leon Kennedy. I would buy like perfect example is great example. It would be Leon Kennedy in the RPD dress. Yeah, the police dress. That iconic Resident Evil 2 dress. Yeah, that would be a great skin. And then there's a leak. There's a leak that Call of Duty was supposed to have Halo. Yeah, the costume. Halo. Master Chief. Yeah. They even sold what is that gun? The shotgun in 80s 90s Doom pixelated style. That would have worked inside the pixel game mode that we had like a few seasons ago in Modern Warfare 3. That would have been a perfect time to do that. Activision just sabotages itself, and it's so disappointing. You don't need bundles. You don't need none of that. All you gotta do, drop the items, $5, $10, sell it. And then all these Call of Duty players, they would buy it in droves. It's not that hard. You don't even need to. Oh, it's so ridiculous. And that's what Nate was trying to say like years ago.
Other things probably not appropriate for little me to talk about.
But they took it the wrong way. Activision took it the wrong way.
Public schools. You know what I'm saying? You were the filth that's in public schools. He's no stranger.
Public schools up north are a lot bigger than they are down here.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
Look, like for example, we went out last night in St. Petersburg. I see white dudes out here all with their MAGA hats. Nobody would ever dare do that where I'm from.
Did you wear a MAGA hat, son? I don't give a shit.
So yeah, Justin Vessel.
I keep a gun on me at all times.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Justin Vessel did last night. I walk up, I'm like, yo, what's up with that hat? And he just looked at me. I'm like, I like your hat. He's like, yo, let me buy you a drink. I was like, blacks for Trump. Like, the one thing I'll say about the South, like, you can just fuck around and joke with people, serious, non-serious, whatever. People are way more friendly down here. Yeah, I feel like if I did that up north.
Yes, we are friendly in the South, yeah.
Good.
Bond's talking shit about my HD DVD collection.
We'll wrap up that night talk later, but let's talk about remakes real quick.
Remakes. Hit it. What'd you want to say?
I think the newest game I've beaten that I can think of was Resident Evil 4 Remake.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a freaking awesome game. I loved it. And it got me to play the
second channel.
Resident Evil 4,
Go.
and I actually ended up
I have
playing that game too.
tons of gameplay
And
of
the
Resident
status
Evil
with
4.
how, gaming is
Mwah.
it's like I played Fear 2 and I
Description.
beat Fear, and the last
Description. Description.
is Far Cry 5, and I've beaten that game twice already. So now I've beaten it twice.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And I wonder if we're just at a state where we just can't come up with any new ideas. Maybe we've just exhausted all creative potential.
Yeah.
Like everything's already been done.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's a problem with movies and a problem with gaming. It's like you can come up with this really cool idea, but then somebody's already done it. And it's just, like, I feel like the only thing that you can really do now is just bring modern gameplay elements into stories that have already been told.
Like remakes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
just like stories back in the day used to be super interesting. Like now you can't really escape the woke media and stuff like that with modern gaming and stuff like that. And the push is to make multiplayer only games because just like the reason I play Roblox, like it feels like there's always something new. And I guess that's what multiplayer is. It's like we can't come up with new ideas anymore. So let's just stick with what we can, which is multiplayer right now.
Zero creativity. It's
Yeah,
like keep in the game as long as possible.
So I just feel like the move forward for gaming.
And this is why a gaming crash is happening right now, because these executives are just hamstringed to one franchise, hamstringed to one idea, hamstringed into, I don't know what you call it, innovative idea. Okay, so Call of Duty was innovative, but it wasn't innovative in one area. It was innovative in multiple areas, and that's what we need. Problem is, the executives in today's climate, they're not understanding what made Call of Duty, or what made Devil May Cry, or Marvel vs. Capcom. This thing right here. Okay? I just bought it, and I love the games. But I don't think they can replicate Marvel vs. Capcom. Okay? And many companies have been trying to do this over the last 10 years, since Fortnite came out. There's a lot of these Me Too games. Like, when I say that, I don't mean Me Too as in the sexy stuff. No. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like when you do a battle royale, do not think about crossovers yet. Think about the experience of battle royale first before you get there. That's how Fortnite progressed from 0 to OG Fortnite, to chapter 5, chapter 6, chapters 8, chapter 9, 10, 11, all this. There was a natural progression, except for the reset to OG. I was like, That's it? Dude, we're sitting here for hours to listen to a rapper, and then you have a butterfly flying around in the ethers. And then you're telling me that's the climax for this OG reset. Like, couldn't you have came up with a new idea, like let's say Galactus style mini game? That was a great chapter, by the way. I never played it, but I've seen parts of it, and I played parts of it. Um, the other great that little when you start from the bottom of Fortnite, you make your way up, and it was a whole challenge. It was a whole challenge. Fortnite just kept innovating, innovating, trying something new, something new, over and over and over and over again. These game companies, they just go like, oh, let's just take um Jason Voorhees in here. Let's just take Freddy Krueger in here. Let's get I don't know, Scream in here without any idea of how to innovate that area. And I'm not digging at Mortal Kombat 1 for this. No. I'm talking about Call of Duty here. Call of Duty, they do it during Halloween. Great idea. But sometimes they do it like 3 months before Halloween. No. The perfect time to do Halloween stuff is in Halloween time. Okay? I don't know if I'm getting my point across. Is what I'm saying is innovate differently. Don't do the same thing as everyone else. Just do what you think is right for your franchise. Everybody hates the new Warzone versions. And it's not because they want to go back to Verdansk. They would try something new, yes. But are you putting like person points of interest that are interesting to the player? Okay? The reason why Verdansk is like great to a lot of players, it's because you put like Modern Warfare 2 maps in there. You put like well-known locations in there. This is obvious. A lot of people went like, it's like one streamer went like, is that vacant? And then the developer went like, teasing players. You know what I'm saying? So, Verdansk was an amalgamation of everything they loved about Call of Duty. Okay? That's what it is. All you have to do is make the other maps more sexy, more spicy. Okay? It's like once the stadium in Verdansk was destroyed, we went around the map and we discovered these tunnels. We discovered train tracks. we discovered points of interest that would take us to the next stage of the storyline. What happened? It worked in the first place. So do that again in the next map. Ridiculous. It's like Area 99. There's nothing special of Area 99. I like the buildings, but is there like a point of interest that made me go like, I'm curious. What's that button? What does that do? What's this item over here? Can I pick it up? What's this crane over here? Can I get up there? Oh, what's this helicopter? Can I go in there and fly to the next stage of the level? Can I go down there into the rocket and find something in there? Come on, what is? I don't know if I'm making sense. That's why Warzone sucks right now. It's not just Warzone 4, it's also 3 and 2. 2 just repeated the same trash as Modern Warfare 2 1 thing. I'm not talking about 2009 Modern Warfare 2. I'm talking about the new one. Ridiculous. Let's go.
Right now, like the games I'm most excited for, or the game I'm most excited for, is Gears of War E-Day. And it's not necessarily a remake, but it's still going back in time to that when Gears was good. So it's focusing.
Good.
Yeah, so it's focusing on back in the golden age. And like I feel like from what I know of Gears, people always wanted a game centered around E-Day.
Yeah, keep talking.
I guess we gotta wrap this up because
Keep
we're
talking.
out of time.
So it's like it sounds really awesome. The trailer looked awesome. Everything looked awesome. The aesthetics looked awesome. And I just feel like the focus now should be. It sucks. It sucks that we can't come up with any new ideas anymore.
It's like comedy.
But-
Every joke's been told.
Yeah. But we can still make with.
Now, E-Day, all you have to do is copy 90% of the gameplay elements from Gears of War, put it into that game, shut up, don't do anything, just let the game be the origin. It's really easy to do this game, E-Day. It is really easy to do this game. It's really easy. You don't really need to do a remake. You don't really need to do anything. All you have to do is see what Gears of War was able to do in the first place and replicate it in the final game. That's it. The storyline? Shut up and make the storyline that leads to E-Day. That's literally it. You don't need to do nothing else. And then you make money. That's literally the easiest job by Microsoft or anybody who owns Gears of War today. That's literally all you have to do. You don't have to do nothing else. That goes for you too, Halo team. The old remnants of 343 Industries. That's literally all you need to do with the new Halo game. That's all you have to do. Just pick what worked for Halo and then do that. If you don't like guns, get out of your job. Quit. If you don't like guns, quit your job. Quit your job. Okay? Leave it to somebody else. Okay? Simple. That's just simple. Take your ideology, shove it up where you don't like it. Okay? Alright? Cool? Cool? We are on the same page. Let's go. That's literally all you have to do.
Last of Us Part 1 is proof of that. We can still bring old games that are already proven, and we can just remake them, maybe adding some modern elements or some new gameplay elements.
Literally what I just said.
Right.
And I think that should be the move forward.
You already know I'm down with it, but the problem is you got a lot of people complaining they're against remakes because they say it's not new. Where do you feel like
I'm one of those guys. I'd rather have something new, but at this point, he makes a point. New is trash kind of right now, and maybe, we take a classic car, we, give it a new paint job, we clean it up.
And he's not wrong right there.
A lot of times these games
I'll tell you
come
why.
out in the past, they only got
Hold on.
90% of the vision. Maybe they want to add in the...
Today's developers don't know what made that game popular in the first place, so they muck everything up. They fuck everything up. They screw it up. They don't play their own games. That's the other problem. They're not quality assurancing their games. Okay? You're dumping millions of dollars into a game, and then you expect people just to eat shit. I don't want to eat shit. Nobody wants to eat shit. If you do, go to a fucking trash dumpster and do your fucking bullshit, and do it there. Okay? Do that. Nobody wants to eat shit. Nobody. If I wanted trash games, I would have just gone to something like, I don't know, Atari. And Microsoft's idea of low quality games is dumb. Really stupid. I'm gonna get to that subject in a while. But right now, this whole storyline is gonna be about the gaming crash. Because I don't like this gaming crash. This is ridiculous. For the last 20 years now, we've had great games, and then it went downhill, and it's not just the publisher's fault, it's not just the developer's fault, it's also the journalist's fault. Yeah, I'm calling you out. That's going to be the next storyline after this one. But what I'm saying is, it's not just the developer's fault. It's the industry itself. And the customers are buying stupid games too, by the way. It's not just... Yeah. It's not just one person. It's everybody, basically. But I'll just leave it there. Let's go.
Whole vision. Right. Big example, Xenogears. Rev knows nothing about it, but the second disc wasn't
Xenogears.
Somebody to go back and complete it.
I would love a remake of Xenogears. 1 for 1, and then fixing the story too.
And it's like I missed the hobby. Look at the
Beautiful
right
game.
Like a good game.
If there's a re-release, I'll buy it day one. Put it on PlayStation Network. Just drop it. I'll buy it day one.
Now sometimes I
every 6 months.
I'm like,
Xenogears.
do I want to spend $60 on this game? Do I like it enough to even...
Fantastic.
Don't get me wrong.
Beautiful game. Beautiful.
But I don't feel like spending $60 for a game I might enjoy over a game I might like. I'm just not hyped on games.
Yeah, me
Not
neither.
hyped. We gotta probably wrap it up.
Yeah, wrap it up. We're running out of time.
Alright, y'all know where to find me. Black Bond. Might be back down here in October. I got a wedding. Could make another video.
I can't do no clubs, man. I can't do clubs. I'm too old. Too old, I'm too irritable.
Too irritable?
Yes.
Well, women today will make you way more irritable.
I know. But yeah, it's good having Black Bond. Good talking to him in person, seeing him in person. He's exactly the way he is online, which I expected nothing less. Good to have my man on camera with me. You know, we'll have to do this more often. If you could get the passion back. If I see you passionate, maybe I'll be passionate. But with you no passion, me no passion.
Oh, man.
I know that's a
Yeah,
lot.
that's
You're like,
pretty
well, I guess the channel's dead then.
You're putting the pressure on him now.
Yeah, well, he's young, man. He's young. He's supposed to be enthusiastic. I'm old. I'm negative.
How old are you now?
43.
Oh, shit. 38.
We're getting up. God, where did time go?
Hey. Where did it go?
How's it feel seeing this kid?
It's wild.
You saw him as a baby.
Yep. Now I'm a grown-ass man.
Yes.
Yo, you know what's crazy? Shokyo just turned 31 yesterday.
What?
31.
Holy shit. How old is Blackbuster?
He's got to be older, like 5 years. Like, he's
Yeah.
got to be probably my age.
Jeez.
Shokyo was younger than you when he started making videos. Now he's 31.
Yeah, he was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Begging for $1 online. Remember that? He's like, no, it's my birthday. Nobody can give me $1. I can buy a PlayStation 3.
I don't remember. I remember Review Tech getting pushed back because he asked for money for a camera. You see the shitstorm he's going through?
I was about to say it, but we'd have to make a whole other video on that. Look, all I'm gonna say is I tried to tell him. I don't lie to people. I tried to tell him. That's all I'll say.
All right, let's wrap it.
Let's wrap it up. Take it easy, everybody.
All right. Gonna say something?
You can probably cut off that MAGA stuff or whatever. Not that I don't want to.
Yeah, so there's no passion in gaming right now. I agree with that. So that'll be all for this part of the video. Here we go. Still on the subject of the video game crash of 2024. He said the video game crash of 2024 is here. It's been here for a while now, but we'll give it a listen.
I am marking this official, folks. We are in the great video game crash of 2024, and things are going to get worse before I feel that they get better. Now, I have a lot of things to say on this topic, but before we get really too deep into it, we have to talk about the last video game crash that we saw in history, because that's where many people's minds are going to go, and they're going to compare and contrast 1983 to 2024. Now, the video game crash of 1983, I feel, has been, well, misconstrued by history, because yes, in America, there was a video game crash. Retailers didn't want to sell video games anymore because of the stigma attached to them, but that was a very regional thing. You see, at that point in time, video games wasn't really like a huge worldwide phenomenon. There was primarily 3 different regions where video games were either created or enjoyed. There was America, but there was also the UK and Japan. Now, in 1983, the UK did not have a crash. They had their little weird computer things, Commodores and stuff like that. Stuff I never really played, but they weren't impacted by it. Japan obviously wasn't impacted by it because the Famicom came out in 1983 there, which you know now as the Nintendo Entertainment System, which was released in 1985, years after the crash, and it wasn't positioned as a video game console in North America. It was positioned as an entertainment system to sort of right the wrongs of the video game industry. But I feel like there are some parallels happening with the video game crash of 2024 and that of 1983. Now, obviously, gaming has become an entirely different beast than it was during those times. It's a lot bigger. There's more money, there's more suits, there's more executives, there's bigger productions. And most importantly, you have this worldwide reach where people in other regions that usually weren't playing video games in the mid 80s, unless there was some sort of importing that they did, are now able to enjoy the same video games that everyone does pretty much everywhere. Now, obviously, there are some restrictions with that, but for the most part, for the most part, you can access video games no matter where you live. But we are seeing some huge things happening in 2024. And like I said, I don't think this is going to get any better. I think it's just going to get worse. And you're going to see more and more of this. First and foremost, let's talk about all the layoffs that we are seeing within the video game industry. Because, I mean, this is not an isolated thing. Bungie of all people. They used to be the Halo people. They laid off a ton of people. Rocksteady Games has announced that they are laying off people today. It seems like every day you wake up, you're hearing about more layoffs.
It's shocking that Rocksteady got laid off. I'll tell you why. We're talking about a company that made Batman Arkham City. That game is the most beautiful, the most immersive, the most high quality Batman game I've ever played besides the Nintendo Batman the video game version. That and Arkham City are two of the best Batman games I've ever played. Bar none. And Rocksteady got laid off. WB Games told Rocksteady to make Justice League. Wait, hold on. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. So that game got panned at launch. How even the reveal of the game? Nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted Suicide Squad. Not even the movie. Nobody did the Justice League franchise justice. Okay? Nobody. Not even the video games. So, I don't know why WB Games thought it was a great idea to put the guys that did the Batman games on Suicide Squad. Okay. And then on top of that, you want to make it a live service game. Does that make any sense? No. The Batman Arkham trilogy was open world, action adventure, Metroidvania style. It was Metroidvania style. Yes, it was. It may not be termed that way, but that's how I interpret the game as. Now I'll tell you why. You go to these points of interest and you explore that area, and then you get the items, and then you get out, and then you find another area of the game that works with the item in question. That's Metroidvania. Color coded doors, color coded keys, stylized keys. Goes into this key, goes in there, goes. It was such a great game. Why can't you just put that team into a brand new Batman game, dude? Just put it on the next generation. Oh my goodness. Most of those guys are gone, by the way, so I don't think Rocksteady is the same Rocksteady of an Arkham City. They're gone, all of them. Sorry, not happening. I guess that's why WB Games just greenlit that game. Just left Rocksteady to literally, I don't know, lay in the middle of the street, perish, I guess, die, whatever.
In the video game industry. Hell, Visions of Mana's team, the game came out, and the same day the game came out, they laid off a bunch of people and are allegedly closing the studio that made that game. So why is this happening though? You see all these reports about video games basically generating all of this revenue, so you would think that things would be better for the industry and that everything would be smooth sailing. Well, there's a myriad of reasons for that. First and foremost, let's talk about corporate greed, because corporate greed is something that does indeed exist.
Yes. RGT is telling the truth here. I don't know if you guys understand this. Okay. So, when you're a corporation and you hire a new employee, okay? Employer gives you contract, okay? Employer asks you to write the signature, right? But you, game developer, get paid a premium of $100,000 per contract. That equates to $20,000 a month. Okay? So, these companies are just trying to cut cost for the next year or the next commissioned project. That's what he's saying here. Okay? So, Vision of Mana, that layoff happened the same day of the release. It's because they want to cut costs and reaping the profits, not even giving them new contracts to another game. Ridiculous. Put them on another game, because that money goes to that project. But the problem is, these executives, they want the money in their pockets. That's what they want. Okay? But what they don't know, they don't understand is that's not how corporations work. And I'm not talking about these people or all these consumers. I'm not talking about YouTube. I'm not talking about RGT here. I'm talking about the executive. The executive, they don't understand that corporations spend. Okay? The only way you get profit is when the corporation has this stock price going up. So you, Mr. Executive, you get a paycheck in the mail. But what you want is to steal the developer's money for your paycheck. That's not how it works. What it works is the CEO says this game sells this amount of money. You guys gonna get paychecks. Next game, commissioned to new project, to new funding. Okay? That's how it works. It doesn't work like, oh, let's just fire these employees and then reap in the money. No. The IRS looks at that shit, bro. The IRS looks at that shit. The government looks at that shit. You want to get scrutinized by these executives? Oh man, whatever.
Have these suits and these executives who I mean, they don't care about video games. They might act like they do, but honestly, they really don't care. What do they care about? They care about making shareholders happy. So they try to hop onto the latest trends. They try to make games that they think are going to sell very well based on maybe other IPs and other video games that have come along. I feel like Concord is a perfect example of this. Concord exists in the size and scope that it does because of Herman Hulst of Sony. Herman Hulst of Sony played this game years ago.
No.
Wow.
No.
This game's awesome. This is gonna.
This is when. Okay, so game development takes at least 2 to 4 years. Okay, so I don't know when this was started, but my guess is it was started right around the time Overwatch was releasing. Like, that's what the target demographic was. They wanted their own Overwatch. That's what the result here is. Okay? It bombed because Overwatch, that niche is gone now. That niche is gone. Nobody wants to play something like Overwatch anymore, unless you're talking about Marvel's Rivals. Yeah. Okay.
Transform everything. So Sony went out of their way to acquire this studio. Sony went out of their way to pump this game up. I don't think this game was going to have a budget the size that it ended up having, but reports are coming out now that this budget for Concord was $250 million.
Too much money.
$250 million.
Where is the other two
hero shooter that doesn't do anything really outside of the norm, that doesn't have identifiable character?
Where is the rest of the $200 million going to? Marketing? I don't see anything about Concord anywhere on the internet or on social media or anywhere really. So where the fuck is the money? How much is the actual development of the game? That's what the fuck, dude? Seriously? 200 million? No. The game looks like it's easy $50 million game development. What? Oh, I don't.
In terms of people that you would see and be like, oh, well, this is a hero shooter. These are our heroes. We're using, known entities and known IPs. No, there's none of that. This was a $250 million disaster. Suicide Squad, another live service game that nobody asked for. We're talking about
nobody asked for it
here.
They asked for Batman.
For excellent single-player games such as the Batman Arkham series. These are some of the greatest video games of all time. I don't care what anyone says. And I think that making these talented individuals, even though the original studio heads had left the company, maybe they saw the writing on
exactly
the wall,
what I just said.
Suicide Squad, a game that completely failed, a game that had no player base at launch, a game that you looked at this game and you were like, no, this isn't what I wanted. This isn't what I wanted. And now we're seeing layoffs. Now we're seeing the failures of this game. Now, companies do have the luxury of writing things off. But what ends up happening is, for every failure that we see, the video game companies adjust what they're doing. And they're looking at what went right and what went wrong. But a lot of times we don't learn from our mistakes. And that kind of leads me into really what I feel is the main point for this crash right now that we are going to see and we're going to continue to see are these ridiculous high budgets. Game studios are overinflating the budgets for these games. Games are costing so much more to make now than they did even 5 to 10 years ago. And when you're constantly trying to chase trends and find out what like the hottest thing is, like Concord is a product of Overwatch.
What did I just say, bro?
Of live service games. That 5 years ago or so, they were seen
literally what
as,
I just said.
New and exciting things. They were seen as something that was different within the video game landscape. But even going back then, you still had failures. Think about games like Lawbreakers and stuff like that. Lawbreakers came and went in the middle of the night. Think of how many games
hold on.
multiplayer focus that have,
To be fair to Lawbreakers, to be fair, Cliff Bleszinski kind of did himself no favors. Okay, so during the time of Lawbreakers, he thought it was a great idea to go into politics at the same time as making his game. Bruh. You're making a video game. You're not injecting politics into your game. So I do it from time to time on my social media. But here's the thing. I do it lightly and I do it in a quiet downturn. Okay? I do it like in the middle of the time where there's nothing going on in the game industry. There's nothing going on in a niche. Okay? So, for example, entertainment. Entertainment, it was nothing going on in there. There's no Fast X. There's no Fast and the Furious game. There's no this. There's no Bad Boys movie. There's no that kind of thing. Okay? So in that point, when I'm not marketing anything, I use that period in between. Okay? Bleszinski uses it as a marketing tactic on Twitter. So all those haters, they hate him, the character, and then they associate it with the boss key, and then they associate it with Lawbreakers. And then you have their marketing strategy. There's no marketing strategy for Lawbreakers. There was just YouTube drops. That's it. Nothing else. I didn't see no marketing on top of that. It was basically the politics of Bleszinski. So that did him. I don't think Bleszinski knew how to manage that whole thing. He didn't know how to expand that universe. It worked for him in Gears of War, and he didn't know where to go next. He didn't know what is the next big aha game. He didn't know. All he sees is Battle Royale. All he sees is Overwatch. All he sees all these live service games, and he thought to go there. But what he's missing is the reason why Gears of War was popular is because of the innovations and the style of the gameplay. Okay? And this is coming from a guy who has never played any of the Gear games. Ever. This is coming from a guy who played Unreal Tournament. This is coming from a guy who played Doom, played all these first-person shooters. He should have made a unique game that sets that game from everybody else, and he just went on the wrong horse, on the wrong niche. But I think Lawbreakers is just in the wrong place, the wrong time, with zero marketing, just relying on word of mouth. He doesn't have the name recognition anymore like he did before, and it's just one big mess that I don't know if I'm making sense. Politics, marketing, uniqueness, all those problems in one place, and that's why he shut down the studio. Okay, you need unique proposition, unique. That's it.
Oh, maybe a low price of entry, or maybe they're even free, but rely on things like microtransactions and season passes to, survive. Think of how many games are in that graveyard compared to the games that have succeeded. See, that's the thing. It's almost like a drug addict. You're constantly trying to, get that new high. You're trying to reach that new plateau. You're trying to emulate what you're seeing other companies do instead of just focusing on what you want to do.
You
You're
want,
seeing
yeah,
Xbox
see,
and a topsy turvy. Are they a console manufacturer? Are they a video game publisher? Are they a video game developer? Are they a multi-platform studio? Am I supposed to play on Xbox? Am I supposed to play on my TV? Am I supposed to play my Xbox games on my PlayStation? And people think that this is a viable option for them, and I guess time will indeed tell. But I feel like it just feels very strange. And I know what you're saying to yourself. Well, how can there be a crash if Nintendo still exists? Because Nintendo's success has been unparalleled this generation. And you're right. However, you do have to factor in a couple different things, such as right place, right time. The Nintendo Switch launched at an optimal.
to be fair, Nintendo knows the franchises. For example, for example, Mario. They keep innovating on Mario. No matter what kind of game they release, they innovate on Mario as a franchise. Innovate, 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 and iterate, 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 iterate. Zelda is another great example. Iterate what works, innovate when you want to, innovate when it makes sense. Like Breath of the Wild blew up the franchise more than it has ever done any video game. I did not expect Zelda Breath of the Wild to sell 20 million copies. Oh no. Nintendo just found something incredible. And to be fair to me, in my opinion, Zelda Breath of the Wild, what it did is it leaned into the original artwork. You should see the instruction manual of Zelda, the first Zelda on Nintendo. That instruction manual, it was painted in real life in Breath of the Wild. And that's why people love the game, because it harkens back to the original Zelda game. And then once that game was completed, the second game was coming out, Tears of the Kingdom. Sold just as much, at least I mean 5 million less, 15 million. So it's not a failure, But it's not the rousing success the first one was. I just think Nintendo just understands the market of their games. And even if they don't, they look at games like, let's say, a recent release, Metroid Dread. Mercury's stream made the game, but Nintendo went like, wow, to Dread. They tested Metroid 2 remake on Nintendo DS, and they liked it. So Nintendo said, okay, we want you to make this game, but I want you guys to do a good job on this game. And they did. Dread was one of the best breakout hits of recent time. That was a great game. Great game.
Time, because there wasn't a myriad of handheld devices as we see now, with all these different companies making various handheld devices that will play your Steam games, and
now everybody else is chasing Nintendo
version of the game. Of course, the pandemic really helped out Nintendo because everyone and their mother bought a Nintendo Switch and Animal Crossing because people were stuck at home. But that also factors into the sort of crash mentality I have right now, is a lot of these studios, a lot of these suits, you know, they saw the success of the video game industry during the pandemic, and for some reason it didn't click in their head that the reason that this success is happening is because people are stuck at home. They have nothing to do. You literally cannot leave your domicile. So of course you're going to look for some sort of entertainment. That's why retro gaming prices skyrocketed. That's why all these movie subscription services skyrocketed. But you have these dumbass executives who just think, oh, well, hey, this is going to last forever. Look at me, I wear a suit and tie. And it's like, what the hell is wrong with you? How did you get this job? And I know that this hurts a lot of developers. And I know that, you know, these huge budgets cause things like layoffs, but you know, while there are really good developers out there and they're really just doing what they're told to by the higher ups, I feel like this hostility towards consumers that we see a lot of these developers have, like it's not exactly making for like a positive sphere here. If somebody doesn't like your game, like that's okay. You know, and yes, people will take it to extremes. People take my videos to extremes. There will be people in the comment section here probably saying terrible things about my beautiful mustache or me as a person or something like that. But I'm not going to entertain them and attack them over and over again, because all that's going to do is create yet another situation. All that's going to do is create more hostility. And yeah, it can be easier said than done to interact with every single troll, but like these game developers just seem to like fall into these traps, like Brian 6767 42069 blaze it on Twitter, you know, some random throwaway account that's clearly not a real person, but they're interacting with these people. I feel like this new generation of developers almost feels like they're owed something. You know, we made this game should be successful. And it's like, no, this is a consumer driven industry. All of these video game companies exist to entertain people. And if they're not able to keep their budgets in line, and they're not able to release games in a satisfactory stage when these games do release, then maybe we need a crash. Maybe we need a flushing of the video game industry and get back to its roots and get back to
we've been in the crash though.
Nintendo has even said, with the upcoming generation, expect games to take longer because of higher budgets and higher developmental times. So if the Switch 2, you know, doesn't do quite as well as the Switch, could Nintendo see themselves in a situation? Like, they obviously have a bunch of money. And I really feel like Nintendo, you know, I'm just kind of throwing something out there, because really, when you look at the video game crash of 1983, Nintendo was still fine because of Famicom, because of Japan, to bring everything back to its main point here. There are big differences, but I think we are in the end times, and I think you're going to see more studio closures, more layoffs, more games get canceled, more games that fail completely, and then studios are letting people go at an alarming rate. Really, like the indie scene is kind of very important right now because they're going to have to be that stopgap. They're going to have to be the companies with the smaller budgets. But then what ends up happening? An indie studio makes something interesting, and then the big wigs come along and they're like, hey, let me buy you, pal. And then they get bought out, and then they're in the same position. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. I really think something big is going to happen. I really think that something big is going to happen potentially very soon, because right now this video game ecosystem that we're in is not sustainable. It's not sustainable. These high budgets, these I've got to sell 10 to 15 million copies in order just to break even. It's not sustainable. It's not going to work. In 2024, with studios closing, with massive layoffs, with studios shifting what they're doing, with games getting canceled, with studios shutting down the day the game releases. And I don't think that any company has Teflon armor to avoid this sort of thing. Things are going to get ugly, people. Things I really feel are going to get ugly, and we're already starting to see it. The proof is already there. It already exists. But people just want to turn a blind eye to it. And, it'd be detrimental to me. I talk about video games. If I don't have video games to talk about, what am I going to do? I'll figure it out, man. I'll cover the crashes. I'll cover the madness that ensues after it. But I want to hear what you guys think about this. Am I being over dramatic? Is this a situation that does exist, or is it just more isolated things? I think at this point in time, you can't just say it's isolated things, especially when a game like Days Gone sells millions and millions of copies, but it wasn't enough. How many copies do you have to sell in order to be successful nowadays? I guess it depends on the game. I don't see Star Wars Outlaws hitting 15 million. They want to hit 10, 15 million just to break even. I don't see that happening. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think of this in the comments section down below. And as always, thank you for checking out this video. If you disagree with me, that's cool, man. Not a huge deal. People have different opinions. I hope you have a good Labor Day. I think this is just an American holiday. So if you live in America, enjoy your Labor Day. I'm still working, pal. I got bills to pay, and I got videos to make. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.
Next one. Alright, so now we have a sequel to the last part of the video. Proof the video game crash of 2024 is here. It's been here for a while, bro. So we're gonna get going. Hold on here.
Alright, so a couple of days ago on the channel, I made somewhat of a controversial video talking about how
it's
the
not
video
controversial
game crash of 2024 was indeed
but the
here.
comment section is saying it's
controversial. I
controversial.
gave you guys my opinions on it, and really, at the end of the day, it is an opinion piece that I created. However, you guys seem to be really interested in that video. That video did absolute banger numbers, so first and foremost, thank you for watching it. Thank you for interacting with the video. And even if you disagree with it, like I said, that's cool. Because really, at that time, it was more so just my thoughts on the overall happenings within the video game industry. But since that video, we've actually had a lot of proof that sort of backs up my theories that I created in that video. And more importantly, I got some inside information on video game distribution that will absolutely shock you and sort of draw parallels to the original video game crash that happened in the United States back in 1983. So if you didn't watch the initial video, I highly suggest you watch that video first. I guess technically you can watch it after this, but there's some brand new information that I need to bring to the forefront with this because it paints a very interesting picture that doesn't sound very good. So first and foremost, let's get into some hardcore proof of things that have happened within the past few days. Tom Henderson over at Insider Gaming. Ubisoft stock tanks to a 10-year low after lukewarm Star Wars Outlaws launch. Now, I actually made a video on this yesterday talking about the situation in the UK, but I did say that there were some caveats with that. Obviously, the UK is just one specific region, and when you're talking about the UK, we were only basing it kind of on physical sales, not any sort of digital sales. And obviously, the digital forefront has become something that is very important within video games. But there are still retailers in the UK that are selling physical games. So you wouldn't expect it to do, slightly better than a game like Avatar, which didn't have all the hype and production value that Star Wars Outlaws had. Star Wars Outlaws is Ubisoft's most, highest paid sort of advertising campaign. It's the most money that they've spent on an advertising campaign for a video game. So factor that in with the fact that it's using a Disney property, which of course costs a lot of money, as we've established with games like Spider-Man, and of course the fact that they probably want this game to sell 10 to 15 million at full retail price. If the stocks are already starting to take a hit, that's not a good thing. Now, I do understand stocks ebb and flow all the time because, I have some stocks. I understand how that works, and it could rebound very quickly. But to see such a large drop because of this one game isn't painting a very good picture for Ubisoft. But of course, we have to talk about layoffs as well, because layoffs are something that I talked about in my initial video, talking about all of the layoffs that we've seen in 2024, things like Visions of Mana, a game that just came out and now the studio is shutting down. But what about doing layoffs on a game that actually has not even released yet, but is still scheduled to release? Oh, well, we have something with that too, folks. Don't you worry your pretty little head. VGC reporting that the studio behind the PS5 and PC version of Until Dawn, meaning the remake / remaster of it, so it doesn't have anything to do with the original version of the game, because this isn't coming to the PlayStation 4, but the studio behind the PS5 and PC version of Until Dawn has announced significant layoffs ahead of the game's release. Now, Until Dawn is actually one of my favorite PS4 games. So when it was announced to be getting an enhanced version for PlayStation 5, I was actually kind of interested in it. But then I thought to myself, well, it needs to be priced right. I actually said in a previous video, I need to see like a $40 price point for this, because they're not really doing much besides just upgrading the engine and making the game look prettier. However, if you play the PlayStation 4 version on your PlayStation 5, you do get resolution and frame rate enhancements in the game. So it's almost kind of like a free sort of remaster thing. When you look at how, of course, other games have been ported from the PlayStation 4 to the PlayStation 5, there was a $10 upgrade path, to which if you had the PlayStation 4 game, you paid $10, you got the PS5 version. They're not doing this with Until Dawn. Actually, what they're doing is charging you $60 for this game. This is just as egregious as Donkey Kong Country Returns HD for the Nintendo Switch. I will never stop bad-mouthing that game, and I will never stop bad-mouthing, full-priced games that are just graphical enhancements. If you're changing core mechanics of the game, you're adding in substantial content, not a Funky Kong, I can understand it. But when you're making a game that already exists, that already looks really good, and you're just making it look a little bit better, and you're not adding in any other sort of incentive, and there's no sort of upgrade plan, when you could clearly do an upgrade plan, there's going to be more studio layoffs. A buzzword that we have heard all throughout of 2024, from big companies to small companies to everyone in between. There have been layoffs every single day, it seems like, in 2024 for the video game industry. Now, is that the sign of a healthy industry? Is that the sign of something that is thriving? Or is it a sign of something that is failing? Also yesterday on the channel, we of course talked about Concord, because what an absolute disaster Concord ended up being. Because, look, if you didn't catch my video yesterday, they're shutting down Concord now on September 6th, and they're going to try to retool it and figure it out. Essentially, probably
they're not going
to make this game
it's just going to be
thing.
named something else.
That's not
or
saving this
rebranded
game.
something
You're not
else,
saving this
or
game, Herman
retooled
Hulst.
as
This
something
should come out,
else.
some of this should come out of your salary because you wasted 8 years,
Huh,
$250
8
million
years wasted.
on a game that lasted
Either that or
literally 1
trashed.
week. A game that nobody asked for.
Deleted.
A game that nobody besides toxic positivity peddlers on social media really seemed to be interested in. Everyone around you was saying, hey, this probably isn't a great idea, but you went through with it anyways. You decided that you needed to buy Firewalk. And there's some questionable things happening at Firewalk as far as employees are concerned. But looking at the overall picture of this really was just a game nobody asked for, nobody wanted, and then you released it and it completely failed. Where is the accountability? Because you made this company continue to create this game and raise their budgets and stuff like that. Somebody needs to be held accountable. And Herman Hulst, I believe, is the person that needs to be held accountable. Now, of course, with a game like this, there is the whole DEI, the woke failure, stuff like that. And I want to talk about that too before we get into our final topic, which is going to absolutely blow your mind. Now, as far as that stuff is concerned, it's a very sensitive topic. Do I feel like stuff like that could have played a role in Concord? To some degree, yeah. When you look at the roster of characters in Concord, I don't really think there's many characters that look very interesting or hero-ish for a 5-on-5 hero shooter. Now, of course, it seems like
we will get into this part later,
lore
but
for the characters and giving the characters pronouns instead.
What he's saying is correct.
Instead of focusing on making a high-quality game that you plan on charging people. I think that did sort of impact some people's decisions not to pick up Concord, but you also have to look at it from a perspective of a lot of gamers aren't terminally online like you and I are. Like, people that watch this channel, they're rather informed about what's happening and what's going on, at least from my perspective. But a casual gamer doesn't know about the inner workings of the industry, doesn't really know about, how this sort of stuff is being done. They're looking at it from a strictly game perspective. And the casual market wasn't interested in this game. The hardcore market wasn't interested in this game. The modern audience segment, they weren't interested in this game. There was no audience for this game. And I think even if you had, characters that were a little bit cooler and something that was more, akin to what you expect to see in a hero shooter, and let's just call a spade here. Even if you stripped away all of the characters and the pronouns and stuff like that, I still don't think it makes for a good game. Because at the end of the day, a good game that's fun is the most important thing. It's not about the characters. It's not about this, that, or the other, or the story or something like that, although the story does play a role. To me, and this is just me speaking, you can feel differently, I don't care. As long as the game is really good, I don't really care that much about, what character I'm playing as, especially in a multiplayer game. You get what I'm saying? In a multiplayer game, there's not really supposed to be a heavy story or anything like that. But Concord failed, dead. You're not saving this game. Free to play is nothing is going to save this game. You wasted all this money and all this time. Good job, video game industry. You're completely healthy. But I say all that, and those were just the recent examples. And I want to get into the information that I got yesterday. Because the more I thought about this, I received a phone call from a friend. And the more I thought about this, the more it absolutely blew my mind. And this is on the video game distribution side of things, primarily focusing on physical games. Because physical games, as you and I have been told, are slowly going the way of the dodo. Digital sales are up, even though if a game only releases digitally, that's accounted for in that as well. Like mobile games and stuff, they count all that in the digital versus physical thing. But digital sales are skyrocketing. Nobody's buying physical media. So we're going to this all digital age that all these companies want to push on you, because then they can control the market. But here's where things get very interesting. What is going on with the physical distribution of video games? Because it seems like there has been a massive change that nobody's talking about until now, because I have the information. As far as this individual told me, Ingram Entertainment is a company that you've probably never heard of before unless you own a mom and pop shop or you are a big box retailer.
I've never heard of
was
him.
basically responsible for supplying most big companies with physical media, including video games. They had a long list of companies that worked with them, from companies like Nintendo to Sony and Microsoft to smaller companies, middleware companies, middle ground companies. All of this sort of stuff worked with Ingram Entertainment, and they were one of the largest distributors of physical media, including physical video games. They supplied not only mom and pop shops, but they did Walmarts, they did Best Buys, they did Targets, and so many more. I can't really comment on the other things, but if you're supplying Walmart and Best Buy with product, you're a big player in this. You are controlling the physical video game marketplace because you're working with these big companies, and these are the companies that are still selling physical games. Well, Ingram Entertainment actually shut down towards the tail end of 2023. In September 2023, the company announced its closure. So expenses are exceeding sales, so it's time to exit. And that was it. They closed up shop. So now you have this sort of gap
Costs going up
that's happening with this. Now another company came along called Allied Entertainment that is sort of filling the gap that Ingram Entertainment left when it comes to physical media. However, Allied Entertainment doesn't have nearly the same long client list as Ingram did. You still have your heavy hitters, your Nintendos, your Sonys, your Xboxes. But when it comes to smaller companies or middle of the road companies like a NIS America or something, or NIS, I don't know how you say it, the company that makes all the quirky JRPG stuff, Allied Entertainment actually doesn't have deals with them for physical distribution. Now, what's the point of me saying all of this? What is the point of Ingram Entertainment leading the market, Allied kind of taking up the space, have to do with the video game crash? Think of the timeline with this. When did we start seeing places like Target and Best Buy start to phase out their physical media when it comes to video games? When did the video game sections start shrinking to a point of even completely disappearing? I believe it was the first part of 2024 when Ingram was out and Allied was in. You see what I'm getting at here? What was the cause for the video game crash of 1983? Retailers didn't want to sell video games anymore. And with this shift, now, once again, companies, retailers are not wanting to sell video games anymore. They're shrinking their things. Think about how when you walk into a GameStop, it's like 40% video games, 60% other crap. And it could be even more varied. It could be 25-75, depending on what sort of GameStop you have in your area. So what I'm saying with this is, it's almost like physical media, even though there is still a place for it. You've seen time and time again, physical media sales do very well. When you restrict the amount of physical media that is out there, and when you shut down distribution chains and companies that are distributing to these retailers, these brick and mortar retailers, and you start to kill off that pipeline, well, what's going to happen? A large segment of people don't like digital purchases. Even the younger generations are starting to see the ramifications of digital purchases. If you were a little kid and bought a game on the Xbox 360, what are you doing with that game now? Do you still have access to that game, or has that game been pulled? So there still is a market for physical media. That's why limited run games exist in the space that they do, and they're making money hand over fist. But when you start to limit the distribution of video games, are people just going to automatically go to all digital? Or are people going to buy less video games? Because there's not as many options to purchase them. You're forcing an all digital thing, and maybe, just maybe, the consumer doesn't want that. If this doesn't sound like a video game crash to you, I mean, I don't know what else you want. We've got studios laying off people at an alarming rate. Stocks plunging for major releases that have just come out. You've got video games. 8 years, $250 million. The biggest flop in video game history was a first-party Sony game. And Until Dawn's going to flop too. I'm going to go ahead and put that out into the universe. Until Dawn is going to flop. And that's why they're doing layoffs. Because they know that this game is not going to sell. Unless you're putting that in PlayStation Plus on day one, that game is screwed. And even if you do put it on PlayStation Plus on day one, a lot of people got rid of PlayStation Plus when you jacked up those prices. And with the changing of physical distribution of video games and limiting it, and retailers getting out of the video game marketplace, what the hell do you expect to happen? This is a very volatile situation. That's not even taking into account the fact that games take too long to make and budgets are way too high and profit margins are razor thin, and you have to do things like microtransactions and DLC to hopefully make up some of that money, because you might be operating at a loss with this sort of thing. People see the gross revenue and oh, the video game industry is in a great spot. But gross revenue is not net. Did you take an economics class? There's a lot of factors going.
He's telling the
things.
truth.
There's people that need to be paid. There's things that cost money with this. And I don't see this getting any better before it gets way worse. But these are just my thoughts on it. Maybe your thoughts are a little bit different. Let me know in the comments section down below, because I respect all opinions on here. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share. Be sure to check out the video from the other day talking about the video game crash that kind of leads.
So, yeah, the distribution is now like cut off, and that is something that needs to be fixed, but it's gonna take a long time to fix. However, these manufacturers, I don't think they care. I mean, they say they do, but who are they going to for the physical distribution? There needs to be a new way of delivering physical games to retailers. That is, but the situation in 2020 did not help matters. It exacerbated the problems. All right, the next part is coming soon. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video, talk about CarlosX360. I'll see you guys later. Stay awesome. See you later.